point of order.
On a point of order, yes.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. I appreciate the opportunity to raise this point of order. What I'd like to do is just give you a brief history or summary of the issue, give you a couple examples from of parliamentary precedent that I think bear on the case, and then propose a remedy. I'm getting up in respect of Bill C-228. At committee, there was an amendment moved to not only protect the pensions of workers when companies go bankrupt, but to also protect their termination and severance pay. That was an amendment that was agreed to by the bill sponsor in advance of the second reading vote. It was ruled out of order by the committee chair. That was overturned by the committee itself. Subsequently, in response to a point of order by the member for Winnipeg North, that amendment protecting termination and severance pay was removed by the Speaker as being out of order. There are a few examples in parliamentary history where amendments that were removed for the very same reason, which was that it was determined it was outside the scope of the bill, have been put back in with unanimous consent by the House of Commons. I refer specifically to June 17th, 1986, when Speaker Bosley ruled that 3 government motions in amendment at report stage of Bill C-106 at that time were out of order because they went beyond the scope of the bill. The parliamentary secretary to the president of the Privy Council at that time asked Speaker Bosley whether the motions could be put to the House with unanimous consent. The Speaker agreed, and the amendment motions were reintroduced in the bill with the unanimous consent of the House. Similarly, on April 28, 1992, the House was about to begin consideration at report stage of Bill C-54. The admissibility of 3 amendments to the bill which had been adopted in committee were called into question on a point of order. The 3 amendments were ruled out of order by the chairman of the committee, as 2 of the amendments sought to amend the Parent Act, and a third, like these, went beyond the scope of the bill, but the chairman's decisions were overturned by the committee. After hearing comments from other members, Speaker Fraser ruled immediately that the inadmissible amendments adopted by the committee to Bill C-54 be declared null and void and no longer form part of the bill as reported to the House. Right after the ruling, the amendments in question were agreed to by the House once again by unanimous consent. Now, I submitted these amendments again for report stage of the bill, which will begin tomorrow. So I think it's timely that I'm raising this point of order now, with report stage of that bill pending for tomorrow. And I'm getting heckled on a point of order now by the member for Winnipeg North, who's very clearly keen to remove protection for termination and severance pay from Canadian workers. But the point that I'm coming to is that the remedy is to seek unanimous consent. When I presented those amendments for report stage, according and in accordance with Standing Order 76.1 sub 2, the table decided not to put those amendments on notice. And so the only remedy now is to seek unanimous consent of the House. So in the context that I've laid out, I would now like to seek unanimous consent of the House to reintroduce the amendment that would create Clause 4.1 to the bill, which would protect the termination and severance pay that a bankrupt owes to various categories of its employees. And I would ask that you seek unanimous consent of the House now, Madam Speaker, to do that very thing.
All those opposed to the honourable member moving the motion will please say nay.
For shame. For shame.
The honourable member for Elmwood-Transcona on a point of order.
This point of order is about the conduct of the member for Winnipeg North, who it's no mystery to people in this House. They know he speaks a lot, both on the record and off the record. And so I wonder, when he said no to that request for unanimous consent, if that was just part of his normal chit-chat on the benches that maybe the Speaker heard because it happened to be very loud, or if he intended to say no to removing the termination.
I think we're getting into debate, and I would like, yes, the Honourable Parliament Secretary on a point, on the same point of order.
Madam Speaker, the member from Elmwood-Transcona is trying to be a little tricky here. I was not the only person that said no. When unanimous consent is requested, Madam Speaker, it's not appropriate for members to stand in the chamber and then start pinpointing, okay, who said no? Let's find out who said no. I was not the only member that...
We are clear on that. So we are not going to start a debate on the issue. Yes, we are clear on that. There was no unanimous consent. Does
the honourable member for Joliette have another point of order on the same issue? Yes, the honourable member for Joliette. Thank you, Madam Speaker. I would like to pay tribute to the work done by my honourable colleague from Elmwood-Transcona, and I'd like to add my voice to the statements he said during his first point of order. Yes, the chair's decision was made, but I'd like to remind the chair that over the years we have seen that the chair interprets the amendments that can be brought to committee in a stricter fashion. It's the same thing. I think that the honourable member will agree that we're starting to contest the chair's decisions. I think that the House has pronounced on this. There is no unanimous consent. We're going to move on with debate.